Have you ever seen a child make a wish so small, yet so powerful it broke hearts? Not riches, not toys. Not even a home, just a piece of cake. Something most of us take for granted. This is the story of an orphan girl whose simple wish touched an entire town, and what she received instead left everyone in tears. The sun was setting over the small town, painting the sky with shades of orange and pink. In a quiet corner, away from the noise of life, stood an old orphanage. Its walls were faded, its windows cracked, but inside, children's laughter still tried to echo through the halls. Among those children was a little girl named Amina. She was just 7 years old, with big brown eyes that held more pain than joy, more silence than laughter. Amina had lost her parents in an accident when she was only 3. She couldn't even remember their faces, only a faint memory of warmth, like a dream she could never hold on to. Life in the orphanage was not easy. The children wore second-hand clothes, ate plain meals of rice and lentils, and shared everything they had. Birthdays were never celebrated because most of them didn't even know the exact date they were born. But Amina knew hers. Her mother, before passing, had told her birthday was in the month when flowers bloomed, spring. And every spring, when she saw flowers blossom outside the orphanage gate, Amina would whisper a little prayer. "Please, God, just one birthday cake, just once." Her dream was so small, yet so big for her world. She had seen cakes only through the bakery window near the orphanage. Golden brown, covered in cream, with candles waiting to be blown. To her, it wasn't just sugar and flour. It was love, a memory of family she never had. But Amina never told anyone about this wish. She kept it tucked inside her heart. She didn't want to be laughed at. The other children had learned to bury their wishes, to never expect more than what life gave them. Still, every night before she closed her eyes, Amina would whisper, "Maybe next year." Spring arrived again. Flowers bloomed. Children played in the dusty yard. But Amina's heart carried the same longing. She pressed her face against the bakery window once more, staring at the cakes lined neatly inside. One cake in particular caught her eye. It was small, decorated with strawberries. She imagined her name written on it in chocolate letters. Just as she stood there, some school children walked by, holding balloons and a large birthday cake box. They laughed, teasing each other, their joy filling the street. Amina watched silently, her little hands pressed to the glass. One of the children noticed her and whispered to the others. They giggled. "Look at her," one boy said cruelly. "She thinks she can have a cake like us." The group burst into laughter as they walked away, leaving Amina standing alone, her cheeks red, her eyes burning with tears. That night at the orphanage, dinner was served, plain rice and watery soup. The caretaker, tired and overworked, didn't notice Amina quietly pushing her food around the plate. Nobody knew it was her birthday. Nobody knew she had waited all year for this day. She went to her bed early, covering her face with the thin blanket so no one would see her cry. The sound of other children talking faded into the background as her small sobs filled the pillow. She whispered again, like every year, "Maybe next year." But for the first time, even she didn't believe it anymore. The next day, she sat outside on the orphanage steps, staring at the street. Life went on for others, children holding their parents' hands, families buying sweets, laughter echoing. Amina felt invisible, as though the world had forgotten her existence. Her small wish seemed impossible. She was just an orphan girl. Why would anyone care? But fate had different plans. The bakery owner, Mr. Rahman, had noticed Amina many times staring through the glass. He had always wondered about the little girl who never bought anything, only looked with eyes full of longing. That evening, when he saw her walk away with tears in her eyes, something tugged at his heart. The next morning, he walked to the orphanage carrying a white box. The children rushed to see what he had brought. Amina sat quietly in the corner, not expecting anything. "Where is the little girl with the big brown eyes?" Mr. Rahman asked. Slowly, Amina stood up. Her heart raced as he knelt down and opened the box. Inside was the same strawberry cake she had admired through the window. "This," he said gently, "is for you. Happy birthday, little one." Amina froze. For a moment, she couldn't even breathe. Tears welled up in her eyes as she whispered, "For me?" The children gathered around, their faces glowing with excitement. It wasn't just her cake, it became everyone's. They lit 7 little candles, borrowed from old stubs lying around. For the first time in her life, Amina closed her eyes, made a wish, and blew out the candles as everyone clapped. The taste of that first bite was sweeter than anything she had ever imagined. But more than the sugar, it was the feeling of being seen, loved, remembered. News of the moment spread through the town. Neighbors began visiting the orphanage, bringing clothes, toys, and food. The little wish of one orphan girl awakened kindness in many hearts. Amina never forgot that day. It wasn't just about the cake, it was about hope. About realizing that even the smallest act of kindness can change someone's world. Sometimes, the biggest difference comes from the smallest gesture. A cake may seem ordinary to us, but to Amina, it was everything. Her story reminds us that kindness costs little, but means the world. Somewhere out there, a child is wishing for something small, and maybe you are the one who can make that wish come true.